Your money worries are actually never going to go away. And me saying that, for some people, that thought is going to be really stressful. It's going to cause a little bit more anxiety, whether you want to admit it or not. But the reality is that it can also be liberating, because the thought that you're going to be free once you hit 10K a month, or 20 or 50 or 100, and then you're going to be happy and free and everything's going to be okay, it's not true at all. If someone's saying that, they're not telling you the truth, or they're just not speaking from experience. Because those few numbers I can speak from experience, but there's also other numbers, like even up to 1 million a month. I have friends who are making that kind of money, and they all say the same thing, and that is that every time you achieve one milestone and one particular focus point in your finances, you don't get rid of all your money problems. What happens is that you unlock a new level. And the sooner that you can accept and realize this, the sooner this thought can stop paralyzing you, and actually it becomes liberating. So if you stick with me, I'll explain to you how. There's 3 core drivers why people worry about money. And when you understand which one it is for you, then at least you can understand which one's driving you and you can actually do something about it. There's fear-driven money, because you're scared of losing what you might already have. This is usually the corporate person who's got a full-time job and they're scared of losing what they might already have, but they know that they're not fully satisfied in their job and they want to do something different, but they just don't know what. And for that, they lose a little bit of sleep over it. Then you've got pain-driven worry. This is where you're desperate to escape your current situation. This is usually the entrepreneur who has just started a business. And they did it because they had a completely different kind of driver, but now they're worried because everything is taking a little bit longer than what it should do, or what they would like it to. And then you've got opportunity-driven worry, because you're afraid of missing out or moving too slow. This is usually the high performers who see people making a lot of money and they look at them and think, I'm more intelligent than that person. I can do better than this. And now they're feeling left behind because somebody else has already made the move. And the only reason why I picked out these 3 is because I've been through all 3 of them. Because guess what? We're human. It's actually very normal to worry about money. But the point here is, until you don't know which thing is the thing that's driving you, it's really difficult to do anything about it. And I actually found out what the solution was to money anxiety while I was actually memorizing verses of the Quran. I ended up deciding to have a little competition with my son, and I said, okay, we're going to memorize a page of the Quran. You're going to do X amount and I'm going to do X amount. Let's see who gets through this page first. And this isn't me here just saying, just trust everything, because that would be a little bit naive and it wouldn't be true either. And it was the realization that worrying about money is your mind trying to prepare you for what's about to come. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what's on the other side of the next level of the worry game when it comes to money. And there wasn't a specific verse that I was reading, but there was one that came to mind, not the one that I was reading. And when you consider the translation of the meaning, the verse says that you find peace in the remembrance of Allah. And me being Muslim, it was really difficult to ignore that moment, because it doesn't tell you to ignore reality, that you don't need to do anything about it. In fact, it encourages action. And that's usually the reason why you might be feeling down or stressed out about one thing or the other. Not because you're not doing anything about it, but because you're not doing anything about it. So instead of having a worry and then just trying to fight it, that's not the right way. You have to listen to it. Because number one, you're human. So being concerned and worried is very normal. But also, one of the core beliefs in Islam is that your rizq is from Allah. What this means is that everything that you earn, everything that you make, it's considered a gift from God. And just like accepting a gift, you might have to go and meet somebody. You might have to welcome somebody into your home before you receive the gift. And you have no idea what that gift looks like. It could be a really valuable one. It could be something that doesn't really excite you. But a gift is a gift regardless. You're still grateful for it. And understanding these 2 things, that the money that you make is not fully in your control, although you're still required to do all of the actions to go and get what you want, and that it's in the remembrance of Allah that you will find peace. These 2 things went really well together for me. And when it comes to asking questions around money, everyone seems to be asking the wrong question. And that's why this seems to be an endless loop that everybody seems to get stuck in. And the question usually is, what if I run out of money? Instead of asking that, why not ask, what if things get tight financially? What can I do right now to prepare for it? Then people might ask, what if this business doesn't work out? Then ask the questions, what skills am I building that will serve me regardless of whether this business works out or not? And instead of asking, what if I lose my job? Just ask the question, what should I do now to create a buffer or a safety net if I do lose my job? Because the reality is that when you're worrying about money, it's not 100% self-centered. It might be that you have loved ones that you care for and loved ones that you need to take care of. Or you might just have some grand ambitions. But that was the driver that made you go and get a job or go and start a business. And right now, while you're doing the thing that you now set out to do, all of a sudden you're feeling paralyzed and anxious and stressed out about it. So instead of asking questions to yourself that actually paralyze you, ask questions that lead to action. Like, what can you actually do about this thing? Because if there's literally nothing that you can do about it, then you shouldn't be worried about it. And if you are in a full-time job or working in a corporate role and you're thinking about going to start a new business, then your biggest enemy isn't competition. Your biggest enemy is your own mind. And that's because you've got what are known as golden handcuffs. You've got a steady paycheck, you've got some benefits, you get holiday pay, which ultimately gives the illusion of security. But I'm sure you've seen, and maybe some of your colleagues have seen, that sometimes there are job cuts. And for that, you have to be prepared. So if you're worried about leaving your steady paycheck and going to pursue a better opportunity, that's actually your intelligence trying to protect you. So don't ignore it, use that as your driver. I know because I went through the exact same thing. I can remember being in a full-time role, knowing that I had better opportunities ahead, and then I went and started a business. I made some money very quickly, and then I didn't make anything for a few months. And all that means is that I needed a skill, and I needed to build a skill that was going to be valuable to me everywhere. So make sure that you have a plan so you're clear on how to get past this. Don't just ignore it or try and make stupid decisions, or let the worry just keep you trapped forever, because the wrong decision is not doing anything about it. And then you have the entrepreneur who also gets worried. And this is funny because the thing that makes you successful is also the thing that keeps you up at night. You literally went out to start your own business so that you can relieve your financial stress, anxiety, and get a little bit more freedom, time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, all of that stuff. And now all of a sudden you're more anxious about the future and you're more stressed out than ever before. Maybe you're 3 or even 6 months into this business and then you've got no revenue coming in. And that's where you start to question yourself, is this the biggest mistake that I made of my life? I don't know if that sounds familiar to you, but that was me. Because I started my business and in month 4, my first baby was due. So the pressure was on. It worked out. I don't actually recommend that kind of pressure for anybody else, but it worked out. But one thing that I learned was that building my business beyond 6 figures a year, 6 figures a month, the worry doesn't go away. It just changes form. And that's actually good news because it means that you're human. And in some cases, the worry is actually legitimate because every single money worry that you have is trying to teach you something. If you're worried about a concentration of clients, then it means you need to diversify. If you're worried about cash flow, then you obviously need better systems. And if you're worried about your competitors, then you need to build something better. And even in my business, this is one of the drivers that led me to explore AI and automation in my own business. Because these worries were real. How do I make the entire business more predictable, scalable, profitable, and so on? That helped me get over some of these worries. So the entrepreneurs who succeed are not the ones that don't worry. They're the ones who actually listen to their worries and then do something about it. And for a lot of people, they ignore it. That's the completely wrong thing to do. Me being Muslim, it didn't eliminate my money worries. My belief just gives me a framework on how to handle it. I'm not here to tell you that just go and try everything and everything will work out, because that's not having faith or trust. That's just stupidity. Because real belief is you trusting yourself first, that you have done everything in your control and power. And only once you've done everything that's in your control and power, then you accept that whatever happens on the other side is from God. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is either going to give me the thing that I actually want or is going to give me something better. And that's the exact difference between productive worry and destructive worry. One paralyzes you and stops you from doing anything, and the other one encourages you, emboldens you, and makes you want to go and take action. And I can say this about my religious beliefs. They push me to take the active route. And there's one final truth about money that nobody wants to admit, and that is that the reason why you actually have money worries in the first place is because you care for someone or something, either your personal goals or your loved ones. And because you want to protect them or help them grow, this gets you worried. Whether you're making 10 a month, a million a month, even the millionaire friends that I have, they still tell me that they worry about money. All that happens is that the worries that you have slightly different worries for every level that you get past. Because I can still remember having a goal to have £500 in my bank account. I was 16 at the time and I just got myself a part-time job, and £500 was a lot of money. I just could not see past that point. Then it became 1,000, then it became 5, then it became 10. Eventually that became a regular monthly income. So ultimately it's a choice. Do you use your money worry as a fuel, or do you use it like quicksand, where it paralyzes you? Because the worry isn't going to go anywhere. You just get to choose what you're going to do with it. So if you identify what the driver is, where this worry is stemming from, write it down. Is it something that you can actually do about it? Take action on it and do everything in your best ability, to your knowledge and your control. Then at least you know that you've done your best. But from my experience, if you're looking for peace and tranquility, it only comes from one place, and that is in the remembrance of Allah.